Welcome back to the NFL Slate Show on the 1009 Network. We got week 6 of NFL. Like college, we missed last week's show because Grayson was out in Broadway, tearing it up, cutting a rug, as they would say. But we still had our picks on Twitter and our bets, unfortunately, for some people. I went 4-1 last week. I'm now 17-8. Grayson went 3-2. He's 18-7, so 1 game separation right there. And Jacob went 3-2 as well. He is 11-4. We are anti-Rams again, and pro Cooper Rush. Our bets: Grayson went 1-3. Jacob had a push and then a loss and a win. So he's 5-9-1. Jacob is 7, or Grayson is 7-8.
Go ahead. No, get one more. Go ahead.
I went 0-3. I'm 2-13. There's that. So just ignore mine.
Well, look at him and then do the opposite.
Yeah. Quite literally, if you bet the opposite, you would be loaded right now.
That's a heater. I haven't done it yet, but I might start this week. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, I wouldn't put it against you. I want us to win money, so go ahead and do it. But of course, the one week you do it, I would go 3-0. But
right, you will go 3-0 if I do. If that's what I'm worried. A game that I will not be involved in and might not watch. I encourage you not to watch it. We have Commanders Bears tonight on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Which is one of the worst primetime games in recent memory, at least on paper. Amazon paid $20 billion for this, and they get 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. So I don't know how this came to be. I don't know why it did. This is just embarrassing, honestly. Thank God we have college games tonight. Otherwise,
yeah.
I mean, with the late baseball game being postponed, there's really not much on except for NHL, of course. But,
Yeah. As it is known by many people, it's the Part of My Take Bowl with the Bears and the Commanders. PFT, obviously a Commander fan, and then Big Cat Bears fan. But yeah, outside of the Monday night game this week, there has not been really any exciting solo standalone primetime games. So, and I doubt that streak will probably continue.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs Chargers week 2. That was the first Thursday night game. But other than that, it's been rough sledding in these Thursday and Monday night games for the most part. So.
Yeah. Outside of like the primetime game or Bills Chiefs play this weekend, but everything else just is like.
Yeah, it ain't great.
It's a terrible week. I would say. I mean, Packers in the early window. You got Packers, Jets, Browns, Patriots, Colts, Jags. There's one division matchup, but.
Yeah, these are all teams trending the wrong direction. Teams we thought would be strong. I mean, Packers, Colts, Browns, all in the division win discussion to start the season. They sit pretty far off where they expected. Like they've all got at least 2 losses, if not 3. So, I mean, and these aren't easy games, I'll say. I mean, the Jets, we've already seen them beat the Browns in improbable fashion. So, I mean, that's a team that is not going to roll over. They get Zach Wilson back. Breece Hall starting to emerge as the lead back in New York. I mean, saw the Patriots last week destroy the Lions. Was it 29-0?
Yeah.
And then this Jaguars team is, trending the wrong direction back towards the mean of expectations. But, I mean, that's still an offense that can beat you. I mean, they already beat the Colts once in Jacksonville. So, I mean, out of those 3 teams, who do you think needs a win more this week?
I would say the Packers.
Yeah,
based off of preseason expectations and what they've done so far. I mean, they're expected to win their division. We talked about it Tuesday, but it's got to be the Packers. I mean, because the Browns, Patriots, they're as well. They don't really stand a chance with the Bills. And then the AFC South is the AFC South. It's got to be the Packers that needed the most.
Especially after the embarrassing loss to the Giants. It was across the pond, but that's still a game you've got to have. You're keeping pace with the team like the Vikings, who might face a rookie QB this week. So, I mean, if you I think they're a game behind right now, but if you want to keep that deficit where it's at, you got to win games like this.
Yeah, I'm assuming Tua is not cleared.
No.
Yeah.
I think Teddy was limited today, but it's not looking like that's a sure thing at all. So it might be the Skylar Thompson show again in Miami.
Yeah. Big weekend for NFC North. North. Yes. That the locations of each one just confused the mess out of me. But like we touched on it, but the Jaguars definitely need to bounce back too, and Trevor needs to have a big game because he's been so up and down this season.
Right.
And then there's Matt Ryan, and that's all I'm going to say about him. So, yeah, I mean, Browns, Patriots, meh. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's not a ton of just absolute eye-catching matchups when we get a good Sunday night game, I think. And then, we've got Chiefs, Bills, like you mentioned later on. But as far as games that you look at, like, okay, I'm definitely watching that. It's few and far between this slate. I mean, Monday night is the Chargers and Broncos, which we'll get to, but that's not one you're clearing out your schedule to watch either. I mean, the Ravens and Buccaneers are both on the road this week. They're needing wins. I mean, the Buccaneers, it's just kind of what team you're going to get. That offense has looked great and it's looked bad, but it's been more of bad. And they're at the Steelers this week. It's an 8-point spread. That's never an easy place to win. Tomlin has them ready week in, week out. Doesn't matter how bad the teams look. Kenny Pickett, rookie QB. You never know what you're going to get out of them. We saw Bailey Zappi almost beat the Packers in emergency duty. So, I mean, that's a big one for Tampa and their aspirations as far as the playoffs go. And, winning a division, that's another team that was penciled in to win that division. It's them in New Orleans pretty much. And then here they sit winless at home, but they're 2-0 on the road. So there's not really much sense to be had there.
yeah. And speaking of New Orleans, I'm just looking at other games. They got Cincinnati coming into town. Joey B returns to where he unfortunately torched us in the national championship game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the 1 o'clock slate, it's just, there's nothing crazy. I mean, Ravens, Giants. I mean, it's a 4-1 game versus 3-2. I mean, that's a
right. And you would never believe who the
goodish
4-1
game.
team is. Yeah.
Yeah, the Giants, but which I
Right.
don't think they're the better team in this game.
No, they're not. But I've been off the Ravens for a month now, and this is a prime opportunity for them to prove me right. But I mean, I think they went out right. I don't know about covering the 6 as a road favorite, but
yeah,
absolutely the better team, like you mentioned.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's the early slate. Again, nothing too crazy unless obviously if you're a fan, you're going to sit down and watch. But the middle slate, there's 3 games. There's a great game. There's a decent game.
They got
There's
to get away with
terrible game.
They got to get away with the 1 o'clock games or whatever it is.
Yeah, it makes for a fun witching hour, but then there's really not much left to be had in the middle.
8
yeah, I mean, bye weeks are starting, so that number will come down. But yeah, you have a point there. But yeah, the great game, obviously, it's Bills Chiefs. It's Josh Allen heading to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Chiefs actually 2.5-point underdogs at home. That's pretty rare for this Chiefs team in the Mahomes era. I think they've been dogs with Mahomes 8 times, and he's 7-0-1 against the spread. So that's something to keep in mind once we get to the betting portion of this. But I think just on its face, this is one that the Bills and the Chiefs both need, honestly, to kind of really establish who the top dog in the AFC is to this point. I mean, it's pretty clearly Philly across the NFL.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I mean, again,
the
they're going to have to prove it.
led Cowboys.
They're going to have to prove it in the late game. But yeah, I mean, Bills Chiefs, I think the 2 best teams right now, obviously Miami, they need Tua healthy, and then they're going to be right back in that trio, kind of like we have in college football, honestly. So yeah, big one. It's
first time the Bills are coming back since the playoffs last year with the overtime fiasco, but stupid rule of
exactly
first team that scores wins. So I'd probably definitely see a high scoring affair. So it's definitely going to be the game to watch, depending on baseball, which will probably be the bigger TV.
Right.
I mean, this game would probably be on the bigger TV than the Panthers and Rams. Like, that's going to be on the side. I don't give 2 craps about that.
Yeah,
except that it's without Matt Rule. So
that's true. Biggest total on the board, Bills Chiefs 54. So if you like points, that's going to be one you want, especially in this middle slate. I mentioned the decent game. You already just mentioned it. It's your Panthers without Matt Rule against the Rams in LA. Rams a 10-point favorite. That's a bit surprising. I think the Panthers, by way of their atrocious coaching,
it's all the way out in LA.
I mean, in front of 13,000 fans. I mean,
That's true.
I don't know if the Rams are 10 points better than anybody at this point, especially a Panthers team that has been good in spots and then loses mostly because of coaching. I know Baker hasn't been great to start the year, but I think that, Ben McAdoo's still there, so maybe we won't see the offense get rolling in the near future. But I think that without Rule in the building, we may see some addition by subtraction there. The DC and special teams coordinator as well. I'm not going to blame them as much as Rule, but if they're part of the problem and they're gone, that's a good thing too. So that's one to keep an eye on. I don't love double-digit spreads, even with home favorites and teams that we were high on preseason with the Rams, but that's that's a watchable game, I think. Compared to
anything, I'll say if it's anything like college, if a coach gets fired, the firing team is bound to go like 2-3, 3-2.
Right. Will the Panthers beat Georgia Tech? Is the big question.
That's
and the bad game, which you couldn't pay me to watch, the Cardinals without James Conner head to Geno Smith and the Seahawks. This is a big division game as they battle for third place. I just have no interest in this whatsoever. This is just one of those gross 13-10 games that means a lot for the division and used to mean a lot in the hierarchy of the NFC, but I think both of these teams are well outside of that top group of teams.
Yeah.
And maybe towards the bottom of the middle group of teams. So, this Cardinals team is inconsistent as they get. They look good some weeks. They look terrible other weeks. This is one you got to have if they won't have any chance in the NFC as far as meaningful spot in playoff seeding. But you can't trust them. So
yeah, it's an ugly game. Like you said it multiple times, but I don't know why, but I could also see in this being an ugly game. That's where there's a lot of points. Like it's either going to be ugly because it's just a terrible slugfest or an ugly shootout. But there's I don't think it's going to be in between. I don't think one's going to blow out the other.
Right. This is the only game with a total north of 50 other than Bills Chiefs, to your point. It's 50.5. So second highest total on the board, which you would never expect out of, honestly, any NFC West matchup. But here we are, these two offenses outplaying their defenses to this point. Seattle without Jamal Adams, per usual, is just not the same. They're going to lean on the offense. Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith. The rookie Kenneth Walker with Rashad Penny out. It's going to be ugly, but that's kind of the beauty of the NFC West is they still manage to produce watchable games, even with teams that at first glance you really have no interest in.
Yeah, I agree. So the big TV will be on the Bills Chiefs, like we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
To pretty much round off the day, the NFC Beast has their marquee matchup, probably of the season so far. You got the great one, the Cooper Rush-led Cowboys heading up to Philly to face Jalen Hurts and the 5-0 somehow Philadelphia Eagles. And probably the biggest matchup so far, I think, of the season in the NFL. I think pretty much. Outside of Bills Chiefs, I don't see what other games have been this much hype around, I guess.
Yeah, Cooper Rush and the Cowboys keep finding ways to win. I think even if Dak's cleared, he doesn't go in this one just because if you're the Cowboys, you still have a home date with them. I would keep Dak on the shelf as long as you can, especially with Cooper Rush winning games, even if it is ugly. You only get 17 shots at it, so if you're picking up 3 or 4 wins without a key guy, I don't think rushing it back's the answer. I think this game's a blowout, to be honest, and this is definitely a game in the picks, so I'll save most of it for that. But you just read these offensive names out and you put them side by side, and it's laughable. Yeah. I realize this Dallas defense is good, but this Philly defense might be even better, honestly. So it's
Philly's looking like a complete team this year.
Yeah, and another big thing is they are 5-0. They're not exactly going through a gauntlet, and they won't have to the entire season. So I think that it is important to realize who they have beaten. But we've seen good teams lose to bad teams constantly, and I wouldn't be stunned if Dallas won this game, but I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you with that one.
Last game of the week, Broncos country. Let's score. Russell Wilson and the Broncos head to the Chargers and their 3,000 fans on Monday night. I don't know who the hell put Denver in primetime 4 times in 6 weeks, but they need to be fired.
It's the Russell Wilson effect.
This Denver team is bad. They were bad with Javonte Williams. They're easily worse without him. The defense is good, but it just, They've had 11-10 and 9-6 games the last two times on prime time.
Yeah,
As
so
a
probably
Chargers
bet this
fan,
under.
I'm terrified of this game because this is another one like Cleveland last week where we're the better team, but we're going to do everything we can to play down to our opponent. We did it last week, should have lost last week. So hopefully this is a get right spot. Maybe Keenan Allen in the mix for the first time since week one. That would help tremendously. The O-line play has been great. Zion Johnson, the rookie at right guard, and then Jamari Sawyer at left tackle in place of Rashawn Slater have been excellent. That's going to have to continue. Keep Herbert on his feet. The rib issue, I think, is at least as far as him missing games, I think, in the past. I know it's still a pain management issue, but hopefully we can keep him upright and do enough to win the game. The 5-point spread, I'm not touching that. If I just hope and
Yeah,
pray we win the game, that's about it.
yeah. I'm gonna give you my juju, my good juju. Yeah, I think y'all will probably win this game. So
Yeah, I mean, these are games you have to have, the home division games especially. We've already split our first two division matchups with the Raiders and the Chiefs, so I think being at 2-1 halfway through the division schedule is fine. I mean, especially the losses to Chiefs in the manner that it was with we had 7 interceptions and we're given none of them. So I'd feel a lot better about the season as a whole if we can get to 4-2, 2-1 the division, and this is on its face, not a huge test, but these division games is where we do our best to try and lose. So we're going to have to flip that script and hopefully win convincingly on Monday night.
yeah. Speaking of wins and convincingly, do you want to get into some picks?
Yeah, absolutely. We got 5 games circled like we always do. I did leave off the Monday night game and easily could have cracked this top 5, but just in the interest of getting these recaps out before we put the main pod out and just make sure we're being accurate with a lot of stuff, I did leave the Bolts out. But first game on the list I did pull was Jaguars and Colts. We've seen this game already. It went the way that no one thought it would. Jaguars winning in a shutout at home, and now this game in Indy, Colts a 2-point favorite. Who do you think wins this one?
I see. I mean, 2-point spread for going into the season. 2-point spread for the Colts and Jags. You would think what's going on. But I mean, the Jaguars shut them out earlier this year. I think Trevor bounced back this week. Give me the Jags. I think Trevor bounced back. I'm predicting. Mark this down. Travis scores his first touchdown. I think the offense gets on track, and that defense is pretty good. Yeah, give me the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take Matt Ryan not getting in his own way and getting the ball to the extremely talented receivers he's got, Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, the rookie. I just don't think that they lose both games to Jacksonville. I realize that they might honestly not be the better team. I do hope Travis gets in the end zone, but I think the Colts do take this one at home.
Boo. Boo.
What's Jacob got there?
He's going with the Colts as well. He has no trust in Trevor, who is his guy, but I'm on my own already. So let's go Jags. Let's go Jags.
Oh man. All right. Next game, another very short number. The Vikings 3-point road favorites heading to Miami to face a quarterback that is yet to be determined. It will either be Teddy Bridgewater or the rookie Skylar Thompson. Vikings 4-1. They're going to have to keep reeling off wins, especially in games like this where they're expected to win. The Packers, we mentioned another softball this week, but they had one last week and lost, so who knows? But yeah, Vikings a game up in the NFC North at the moment, and a win here would guarantee them to stay on top of the division through 6 weeks. So who do you think wins this one?
I think with it being Teddy or Skylar Thompson, I don't think they're quite good enough to beat offense with Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, etc. The NFC, no, both NFC. The second version of Cooper Kupp with Adam Thielen. But yeah, give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the biggest thing is no Tua. I think the Dolphins are favored in this game with him, certainly at home. This Vikings team hasn't been super impressive since that big Week 1 win against the Packers, but I think, I can't pick Teddy or the rookie to get this done, even at home. So, yeah, give me the Vikings.
And Jacob has the Vikings as well.
All right, another road favorite. This time a little bigger number. It's the Ravens -6 heading to the surprisingly 4-1 New York Giants. Who you like in that one?
I think Brian Dable is going to be a good coach for the Giants. He's got them rolling, got them started off pretty well. I mean, they played the Panthers and had to win by a field goal. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, this is one of those spots where you have a team with nothing to lose. The Giants would take 4-2 through 6 weeks every single time you ask them. Doesn't matter what the two losses are. I mean, that's higher than any expectations anyone could have had for that team. And I think it does come true. I think they are a 4-2 team. I think the Ravens, I'm still not high on them, but I'm not this low on them either. I think they need this one bad to keep pace in the AFC North that's turning into an absolute bloodbath already. So very, very tricky spot for them coming off a tough loss or hard fought win against the Bengals. But yeah, I think they keep rolling and at least get the outright win.
Yeah. And Jacob is also on board with us with the Ravens.
All right. Next one, billed as the game of the day. It is the Bills, 2.5-point road favorites against Mahomes and the Chiefs. We mentioned how that was just wild to see. Very rare that Mahomes is a home dog, but here they are in this spot. Who do you think comes away with this one to win?
I mean, we saw it Monday night. I think Arrowhead is too big of a home field advantage. We've seen them lose twice already in Arrowhead with the Bills. So I'm going with Chiefs. I think Mahomes and our offense is a weapon. Um, and I mean, it's going to be probably a high scoring game, but I think the Chiefs do just enough to win.
Yeah, I was torn. I always have a game on back and forth on until we hop on
This
here.
is definitely the one that's
this
up
is
in
the
the air.
one. I'm going to take the Bills. I just think they've got better offensive talent. I think the Bills can stop Allaire, and that takes away a big factor of that Kansas City offense without the elite receiver play we've seen from Tyreek Hill in the past. I know Travis Kelce's coming off a 4 TD, 20-yard game. I don't think it's going to take much tape for them to. I mean, they could double them if they want to. Then they're daring Juju Smith-Schuster to beat them. I mean, I don't think it's.
Can you even stop him with a double team? That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bills are good enough to let Kelsey do similar things and still get away with it. I mean, if he scores 4 TDs, then I'm going to be wrong about this. But I think Kelsey's just too vital to that offense almost. And if someone can manage to take him away, they're going to have issues. And I think the Bills are a team that can accomplish that. So, yeah, give me the Bills.
Yeah, that's definitely, like, I'm not insane. Like, that's probably the one I'm least confident in. It's two of the best teams, so it's going to be a dogfight either way. Jacob's on your side again. He's going with the Bills as well.
All right. From my least confident pick to my most confident, it is Cooper Rush and the Miracle Cowboys heading to Philly. Philly, a 6.5-point home favorite. Who do you think wins that one?
Cooper Rush, you got us last week, but I don't think you get us again. The Eagles are 5-0. They're a good team at home. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders. Eagles.
Keep going.
It's Eagles. Yeah. I could, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Jacob's on the Eagle train as well.
Jordan Davis in the middle, going to stop whatever run game that Dallas thinks they have. And Cooper Rush is not beating the Eagles in Philadelphia by himself. I don't care if there's 3 CD Lambs out there. They only have 1. They have Gallup back. Doesn't matter. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah. So I differ on y'all on 2. Yeah, 2. So
that's a good bit of variety. Yeah.
Might see a little bit of switch up. So yeah, there's that. That's our 5 for the pick'ems. You got any favorite bets? Because I know I don't ever.
My favorite bets are probably the opposite of yours, to be honest. But I just mentioned my most confident pick. I'm going to take the points as well. Eagles -6.5. I don't think it's close. That Dallas defense is good and has gotten them wins. But if that Dallas offense is going out there for 3, 4, 5, 6 plays at a time, it can only last so long. The Eagles offense is just too good to be held in check, especially if the Dallas offense isn't doing anything to help them out. So give me the Eagles by, if it's not double digits, I'll be surprised. I'll just be honest. I've been wrong about the Magic before. We all had Rams last week, but I mean, night and day offensively from the Rams to the Eagles. Maybe not on paper, but just what we've seen so far. I think it's the Eagles showing us again why they are the best team in the NFL, 6-0, undefeated, and all that.
Yeah. My first one, I'm going out on a limb here. We got rid of the source. Might as well ride with them now. Give me the Panthers plus 10. Let's go out there and shock the nation by losing by 9.
Yeah, I mean 9 works. That's
Yeah.
I like that. Bounce back, addition by subtraction. Yeah, the source of a lot of the angst has exited the building as well as 2 of his coordinators. So yeah, I for your sake, I do hope that one gets home.
Yeah. I'm just digging into the 2-13. So give me the points.
Yeah, one game at a time. First of 2 very short home favorites for me. Big games for both these teams trying to bounce back. The first one is the Colts -2. I just don't see this Jacksonville team, I guess, rebounding from the great start and then the fall from grace. I don't know if they have it in them to sweep the Colts as uneven as they've looked. I know the AFC South has just been a dumpster fire so far as for, with consistency. The Titans in the same boat as the Colts, honestly. I just think Matt Ryan does just enough not to lose this game. And I think if they do lose, it is his fault. So I could very well be wrong about that. But yeah, give me the Colts -2 at home.
That is what I'm hoping for. This one, give me the Bengals -2. I know the Saints have a good defense and all, but I think the Bengals get on track and able to throw it over them. So give me the Bengals -2.
Yeah, hopefully T truly active for that one. The ankle's good to go, and that offense gets back rolling after literally throwing that game away Monday night like 6 times. So
Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night. My last one's a team I'm still high on despite their start. If you listened on Tuesday, you know what this is going to be. Give me the Browns -2.5 against the Patriots. The Browns are not good, but the Patriots are terrible. The Lions was a good win for them. That's a team that can score, and they didn't score a point. But I'll say it again, that Lions team has like a 6-win ceiling. So I don't think beating them in that fashion is as impressive as people may think. I think the Browns get a win in spite of Jacoby Brissett. Hopefully he will not throw a pick inside 3 minutes because they're undefeated when he does not. So give me the Browns in that run game led by Chubb and Hunt to win in spite of their quarterback as they get a week closer to Deshaun's return and they get back to, I think, 3-3 with a win. So yeah, Browns -2.5.
And to round out my picks, my trustworthy bets, I like points. I think there's going to be a points affair in this matchup. Bills Chiefs over 54. I can't not pick that one after what I bet the Chiefs Monday night. I bet that over 51. Yeah, give me that again. I'm riding with them.
Yeah, I mean, highest total on the board, but also the 2 best offenses matching up pretty clearly. I mean, you could maybe say Minnesota, Miami, but with the QB absence in Miami, that takes away a lot of the luster there. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and Jacob's bets are Giants +6. He's picking the Titans or the Colts to win, but he's got Jags +2. So he's expecting probably a field goal win. And then Chiefs +2.5.
Yeah, I mean, those are solid. Yeah.
He confused me for a second because he said all favorites, but then he thinks it's going to be a close game. Either way, hopefully I get on track with these. I'm not insanely confident. The Panthers one was just because, I mean, it's a post-firing coach. You got to at least get him to cover.
You have to, yeah.
But yeah, hopefully I get back on track. Hopefully I stay hot with at least the straight-up picks. So keep my winning records and those going.
Yeah, that's about all we got for NFL. If you haven't listened to college yet, we encourage it. These will come out a couple hours apart. But yeah, so that's everything for the NFL in Week 6. We're hoping both of our teams can get wins, and then of course our 3 bets and the 5 teams we pick straight up get there as well. This will be Apple and Spotify like normal, YouTube, the 1009 podcast, and then if you want a record of these picks, of course, that's on our Twitter at the 1009. We'll tweet them the morning of the games and then recap for you the morning after, which is why we keep these Monday night games off. Not just because Denver's on the game and they suck, but just to make sure that we're staying on track with that. So,
yep.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. We will see you guys on Tuesday.
Deuces.
Subscribe.